in this worldwide conference, which is now going on. I would like to refer to the presence of Minister of Development of Greece, Mr. Panagiotis Theodorikakos, represented by the Secretary General, Mr. Lefteris Kritikos, Secretary General of Development on Industry, the representative of the Archbishop of Greece, Athens and Greece, His Beatitude Hieronymus, who is represented by the Reverend Bishop Thespion, Mr. Papa, who is represented by the Reverend Father, His Grace, Father Hieronymus, from the Exarchate of the Holy Tomb in Athens. The representative of the Armenian Patriarch Nurhan Manukyan, Dr. Paul Tsolakian, who is representing the great priority of Greece as the Grand Master of the Knights. And of course, all of you representing European international organizations and the scientific community of Greece, Cyprus, and 33 countries around the globe. It's a great honor. I would like to have για να κάνω την παρουσίαση. Thank you. Okay. This series of conferences are developed due to the innovation that this unique rehabilitation work of the Holy Edicule of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem has introduced into the worldwide practice of preservation of monuments. And it was acknowledged by the European Union that this innovation is taking us to the future trends of the rehabilitation of world monuments. Actually, the fact that all the disciplines, all the engineering disciplines are working together and are merging their data on the 3D documentation core digital infrastructure of the monuments is one step ahead of what was happening years and years ago. This innovative practice is bringing together not only the positive and technical sciences and engineers, but humanities as well, history, archaeology, theology, social and political sciences are being brought on a forum, a transdisciplinary forum, which aims to bring together and develop a new language. This language that the Tomb of Christ and the monument of the Holy Edicule was speaking to all humanity. The days we opened the Tomb of Christ and 3 billion of people were kneeling in front of it with us in order to pay respect to the message of the resurrection, a message of hope. 3 billion people, Christians, are accounting for 2 billion people in the world. That means that this monument is uniting different religious beliefs, different countries' interests, even for countries in conflict. And this union, which started from the historic initiative of Patriarch Theophilos of Jerusalem and was embraced by the Custos of the Holy Land and the Armenian Patriarch of Jerusalem. This historic message is still alive, especially today that the conflict and the war in the Middle East, even in the Holy Land, invites us to bring a new perspective for mutual understanding of the people of this world and for peace. With these ideas that give a critical dimension to the restoration of monuments, the restoration of communication in order to recapture the world in crisis through culture. We have developed this series of conferences which 2018, 2021, and 2023 performed on the level of diffusion of the innovation, of transfer of the know-how, and on education, innovative, novel education on the level of educating people, developing skills of professionals in order to perform this task. And today, at the fourth conference, it is a new step which is joining the new project Evlogon, a project that is taking us from all this evolution through diffusion, education, and know-how transfer to the development of an interdisciplinary language on standardizing this innovating practice, on developing a national task force on the engineering level to implement these new practices, and on developing a competence center that, hand by hand with the European one, will take us to the future. It is with great pleasure that we can see that this evolution from 18 to 21 to 23 and up to today, it is augmenting the impact, the scientific impact of this conference, which is publishing in well-recognized international journals today 185 scientific papers of more or less 500 authors from 31 countries. The issues of this conference are broader than the restoration, are covering the spectrum of development. Development meaning reuse and revealing of cultural heritage as a major resource of sustainable local planning on developing perspectives for historic cities in front of the future of sustainable tourism, and of course, bridging scientific community for cultural heritage with industry and society. With this data, it is not by chance that very important European projects like the one you see are joining and sustaining this effort, as it is visible in the panels and in the sessions. I'd like to thank all the donors, starting from the Eugenides Foundation and the disposal of this very fine hall, the media sponsors, and of course the sponsors of TMM. I'd like to thank all the members of the International Steering Committee and the Scientific Committee, the partners of Evlogon, National Technical University of Athens, University of Ioannina, University of Peloponnese, Technical Chamber of Greece, the National Center for Social and Political Research, and of course, the Orthodox Academy of Crete, which is bringing together all the Orthodoxy entities of our church. And I would like giving the floor to the representative of the National Technical University of Athens, our Research and Innovation Vice Rector, Professor Manos Barbarigos, saying just one phrase, that all this innovation about we are talking, it is just one small contribution to the glory of the resurrection and the hope, and express my respect and gratitude to this message and to the Three of Jerusalem that brought us here. Thank you very much.
So, Your Holiness, Your Beatitudes, Honorable General Secretary, distinguished guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the rehabilitation of the holy sculpture, the holy edicule of the holy sculpture in Jerusalem has been a pivotal project on the preservation of cultural heritage. It has pioneered a novel holistic approach for the sustainable preservation and management of cultural heritage. It has also motivated the establishment of this international conference on transdisciplinary multispectral modeling and cooperation for the preservation of cultural heritage, which is held for the fourth time organized by the National Technical University of Athens. The theme of the conference is very important for Europe and for Greece in particular, as it deals with establishing new interdisciplinary approaches for the conservation and the digital documentation of cultural heritage. Cultural heritage is important or even indispensable for nations, for societies, for communities, and for individuals, as it gives each of us a sense of identity, of belonging, connecting ourselves to our past, and providing something which providing continuity in an area where we have the impact of globalization, the rapid changes in life, etc. Also, educational heritage has a great educational value, as it serves as a source of knowledge and understanding of our history, customs, and society. Other things that, other elements that cultural heritage provides are social cohesion, economic benefits, of course, through tourism, and above all, the preservation of diversity, which is something very important to respect different ways of life, different languages and practices in the future also. The National Technical University of Athens that I represent was established in 1837, and it focuses. It is an engineering school. It focuses. It has 9 engineering departments, and it has played a major role in the past in the pre-war development of Greece and the post-war reconstruction of the Greek economy. Besides, in addition to being the top university in Greece, as the rankings of the FAE prove. The reason National Technical University of Athens is involved is that engineering is very important. The new technologies are very important for preserving both the tangible elements of cultural heritage, like buildings, monuments, etc., but also the intangible elements in the form of traditions, performing arts, oral traditions, etc. So this is why the National Technical University of Athens is part of the effort in preserving the cultural heritage and managing this heritage with all its capabilities and the technologies it can combine. So I would like to express my sincere thanks to the organizers, and especially to Professor Emeritus Tonia Amaropoulou, who is disseminating in this conference and in the previous ones the lessons learned from the great work done in Jerusalem. And I also want to welcome all the participants to this conference and wish good success for the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I have the honor to invite for the inauguration of the conference, on behalf of the Minister of Development of the Hellenic Republic, Mr. Panagiotis Theodorikakos, the General Secretary for Industry, Mr. Lefteris Kritikos. Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is with a great honor and a profound sense of responsibility that I stand before you today, representing the Minister of Development of the Hellenic Republic, Mr. Panagiotis Theodorikakos, to declare the opening of a conference that serves as a beacon for science, policy, society, and indeed for civilization itself. Allow me first to extend the appropriate greetings to His Grace, Bishop of Thespis, Mr. Pavlos, representative of His Beatitude, Archbishop Hieronymus II of Athens and all Greece, to the Reverend Father Hieronymus, Exarch of the Holy Sepulchre in Athens, representing the Armenian Patriarch of Jerusalem, Archbishop Nurhan Manoukian, to the President of the Conference, Mrs. Antonia Moropoulou, and to all of you, leading scientists, delegates of international organizations, institutions, and academic communities. In preparation for this address, and in order to grasp, even symbolically, the breadth of meaning behind this remarkable initiative, I sought a thoughtful dialogue. A dialogue both with a young spiritual man, Protosígelos Trikis Alexios, and with the president of this conference, Professor Antonia Moropoulou, because my own view, the technocratic one, represents but a single facet of the rich, multi-layered approach to our shared history that this gathering embodies. The TMM-CH conference is not just a scientific event. It is a living proof that science can act as a bridge between past and future, between peoples, between faiths, and between the values that unite humanity. The conference is the practical expression of the convergence of technology, innovation, culture, and social cohesion, all guided by a common goal: the preservation of global cultural heritage. The significance of the project Evlogon, presented in the framework of this conference, is multidimensional. On the one hand, it represents a model of holistic documentation, protection, and restoration of emblematic Christian monuments. On the other hand, it carries educational and social added value as it connects science with faith, memory with the future. As Secretary General for Industry, I cannot help but express my deep admiration for the way in which technological expertise, digital methods, and cutting-edge scientific approaches, including non-destructive diagnostics, archaeometry, artificial intelligence, archaeogenetics, and digital twins, are integrated into a multi-sectoral, interdisciplinary strategy with applications that go beyond cultural heritage, extending into the very core of modern industry. From this perspective, cultural heritage management and monument restoration are not isolated fields. They are laboratories of innovation, sources of exportable expertise, and generators of high added value. Ultimately, this conference must also be viewed within the broader framework of cultural diplomacy. Greece's scientific excellence, in cooperation with international institutions such as UNESCO, ICOMOS, and National Geographic Society, and of course the European Commission, has already demonstrated that our country is not merely the cradle of civilization, but also a producer of global solutions. As the British-American poet and thinker W.H. Auden wisely noted, civilizations should be measured by the degree of diversity they achieve and the degree of unity they maintain. The Mediterranean, cradle of civilizations, will forever remain a field of cultural knowledge, historical research, political discourse, and religious reference. The rapid global developments we are witnessing today affect and perhaps ignite a series of events in a region historically marked by conflict. Yet, the peoples of the Mediterranean have long understood that promotion of culture as an instrument of political maturity can become the very foundation for peace and progress. In this emerging strategy for bridging peoples through mutual respect of cultural foundations, religious heritage constitutes one of the most powerful pillars of mutual understanding and coexistence. Religious monuments are enduring bonds of stability and trust among states and faiths. Their very presence helps to prevent unproductive tensions and foster dialogue. The preservation of these monuments would be inconceivable without scientific knowledge and the support of modern technology. Faith, art, and science, together they form the triad within which the osmosis of the new culture takes place. Professor Emerita of NTUA, Antonia Moropoulou, and her entire scientific team have not only restored and preserved emblematic monuments, they have transcended the boundaries of science and shown the world the fruits of the alliance between faith and science. This alliance is our response to emerging cultural threats. The Greek state, the nation's academic institutions, and our distinguished scientists are ambassadors of this noble endeavor. Together, they position Greece as a guarantor of universal values, of security, and of progress in the wider region. Ladies and gentlemen, knowledge is power, but understanding is wisdom. And it is this wisdom that the TMM-CH conference calls upon us to cultivate together through the memory of monuments, the documentation of values, the cooperation of sciences, and our faith in human potential. With deep belief in the mission of this conference, in the purpose it serves, and with hope that each message will continue to resonate globally, I hereby declare the official opening of the 4th International Conference TMM-CH. I wish you all a most successful conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary General. You can assure the Minister of Development that we will stand with this alliance between science and faith, and we will take over the project, the emblematic project, Evlogon. Thank you very much. We have a message from the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Loverdos Michail Ioannis. Can we have the video, please?
Esteemed Professor Moropoulou and members of the scientific team, dear professors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and a great pleasure to address the 4th International Scientific Conference on the innovative and interdisciplinary preservation of cultural heritage organized by the National Technical University of Athens in cooperation with the Technical Chamber of Greece. Thank you for your kind invitation to this remarkable conference where cultural heritage meets innovation and technology. Sharing knowledge and innovative methodologies is crucial to the preservation of cultural heritage, especially in a moment of important global challenges such as climate change and ongoing conflicts. In 2 weeks, we will celebrate the Orthodox Easter, which this year will be celebrated on the same day by all Christians. I will have the special honor to travel to Jerusalem with a Greek delegation to attend the Holy Fire ceremony held in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a place of pilgrimage for Christians all over the world. The Holy Edicule conveys in itself an ecumenical spiritual message. It is a place that brings together peoples of all nations and cultures, sending a message of love, peace, and hope to the whole world. We are grateful to Professor Antonia Moropoulou and her scientific team from the National Technical University of Athens. Projects like this highlight Greece's vital role in the restoration of this sacred site. Greece is deeply interested in the preservation of the special status quo of the holy sites, given their universal importance, especially now that the Middle East stands as a turning point. Greece is actively present in the region. As a member of the UN Security Council, Greece places particular emphasis on cultural and science diplomacy. We support the initiatives related to the protection of tangible and intangible cultural and religious heritage, and encourage innovative projects such as the emblematic rehabilitation of the Holy Edicule. Promoting cultural and science diplomacy is a priority for the Greek Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The priority is reflected in our strategic plan for Greeks abroad, 2024-2027, presented in November 2024, and in our strategic plan for public diplomacy, to be presented in 2025. Our aim is to promote Greece's cultural heritage and the ecumenical values of Hellenism, such as dialogue and democracy, strengthening ties with the Greek diaspora and building bridges between Greece's scientific ecosystems and universities and their counterparts in other countries. The Greek government places in particular emphasis on cultural diplomacy as a way to engage with other nations through the mechanisms of multilateral diplomacy, especially within the framework of UNESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, culture and science open new areas of dialogue, paving the way for developing mutual understanding and multilateral cooperation, as is in the case with the 4th International Scientific Conference. Greece embraces innovation and research in cutting-edge sectors and harnesses to promote cultural and scientific initiatives that can act as a catalyst for peace and stability. Thank you very much.
The Deputy Minister is out of Greece. That's why we welcomed his video address. I have to welcome as well His Excellency, the Ambassador of the State of Palestine, who is here. And I have now the great honor to invite His Eminence, the Metropolitan Bishop of Laodicea, Mr. Theodoritos, to read the message of the Ecumenical Patriarch, His All Holiness, Παναγιώτατος Κύριος Βαρθολομαίος. Thank you very much.
Τη ελεογημοτάτη κυρία Αντωνία Μοροπούλου, ομοτήμο καθηγητρία του Εθνικού Μεσοβίου Πολυτεχνείου, επικεφαλής της Διεπιστημονικής Ομάδος Οργανώσεως του 4ου Διεθνούς Διεπιστημονικού Συνεδρίου, θυγατρή της ημών μετριότητος, εν κυρίω αγαπητή, χάριν και ειρήνην παραθεού. Χαιρετίζομεν την διοργάνωση του παρόντος συνεδρίου, επενούνται συγχρόνως τους χόντας τη σχετική πρωτοβουλία, του συνδιοργανωτάς και πάντας τους συμβάλλοντας εις την προετοιμασία και την πραγματοποίησή του. Είναι γεγονός ότι ο χώρος εντός του οποίου ζώμεν και κινούμεθα λαμβάνει την ταυτότητά του από τις παλαιότερες διαμορφώσεις κατά την πορεία του χρόνου. Εσύγχρονοι πόλεις αποτελούν εν πολλής εν παλίμψιστον, ως Συχνάκης λέγεται, εις το οποίο δίνεται να αναγνωστεί ο τρόπος ζωής των πρωτογενεστέρων. Δια της καταγραφής, της αποτυπώσεως, της αποκαταστάσεως και αναδείξεως σημαντικών μνημείων και κτηριακών συνόλων, τα οποία αποτελούν αναπόσπαστον τμήμα ορισμένων τοπικών παραδόσεων, αλλά και του παγκοσμίου πολιτισμού, συγκρατείται στη συλλογική μνήμη των λαών και της ανθρωπότητος, αραγής η άλυση των πνευματικών αξιών, τας οποίας αυτάς εκφράζομεν τόσον δια της τεχνικής των, της σοφίας των εκάστοτε δοθησών λύσεων και δια της χρήσεως και λειτουργίας των, όσον και δια της αισθητικής των. Σπουδαιοτάτη είναι η διάσωση της αήλου πολιτισμικής κληρονομίας του οικοδομήν, της τεχνογνωσίας, δηλωδότη και των ιστορικών μεθόδων αξιοποιήσεων, φυσικών και ανακυκλωσίμων οικοδομικών υλικών. Σήμερον τονίζεται ο οικολογικός χαρακτήρ του κλάδου των αποκαταστάσεων και της αξιοποιήσεως ιστορικών μνημείων, ως και η συμβολή του στην βιωσιμότητα ή στην εξοικονόμηση πόρων δια της επαναχρήσεως του εφισταμένου κτηριακού αποθέματος ή στην ενίσχυση της κυκλικής οικονομίας και στην αειφόρον ανάπτυξη, καθώς προσφέρονται λύσεις φιλικές προς το φυσικό περιβάλλον των κοινών ημών οίκων. Δι' όλους αυτούς τους λόγους κρίνεται σπουδαιοτάτη η διεπιστημονική προσέγγιση των πολυδιαστάτων αυτών ζητημάτων. Η μεγάλη δύναμη της εποχής μας, η τεχνολογία, αξιοποιημένη καταλήλως, δύναται να συμβάλλει ουσιαστικώς στην διάσωση των πολιτισμικών μνημείων και στην ανάδειξη πολυτίμων παραδόσεων. Πολύ σημαντική εμφανίζεται επίσης η συμβολή των ανθρωπιστικών επιστημών, οι οποίοι αποκαλύπτουν στον τεχνοκρατούμενων άνθρωπον την πνευματική και ηθική διάσταση του πολιτισμού, την αλήθεια πέρα του επίπεδου των υλικών αναγκών και της αρχής της στιγνής χρησιμοθυρίας. Ο σύγχρονος πολιτισμός κατατρίχεται εκ της κυριαρχίας της λογικής του ωφελισμού, ο οποίος είναι κακός σύμβουλος και δεν επιτρέπει στον άνθρωπο να ατενίσει το βάθος των πραγμάτων. Ο χώρος και τα κτίσματα είναι φορείς μνήμης και ήθους, αλήθεια μεμαρτυρημένη εξόχως στην χριστιανική παράδοση. Ως αναφέρομεν η σχετική ομιλία της ημών μετριότητος, πάντοτε η αρχιτεκτονική εκφράζει μία πνευματική στάση απέναντι στον κόσμο, ένα τρόπο χρήσεως του κόσμου. Το καθημάς παρελθόν διδάσκει ότι κάθε βυζαντινό οικοδόμημα είναι ένα ευχαριστιακό γεγονός. Οι ναοί και ερέμονε είναι εντεταγμένοι αρμονικώς στο φυσικό περιβάλλον. Όχι μόνο δεν το επιβαρύνουν, αλλά αναδεικνύουν το κάλος. Ο πολιτισμός και το περιβάλλον ευρίσκονται εδώ ισορροπίαν, γνώρισμα το οποίο δεν ισχύει δια την συνύπαρξη φυσικού και δομημένου περιβάλλοντος σήμερον. Αυτήν την σπουδαία παρακαταθήκη δια το πώς και το νόημα του πολιτισμού καλούμεθα να αξιοποιήσουμε δημιουργικώς ενώπιον των προκλήσεων αλλά και των θετικών προοπτικών της εποχής μας. Με αυτά στα σκέψεις και τα αισθήματα συγχαίρομεν πάσιν ημίν άπαξ έτη δια την οργάνωση του 4ου Διεθνούς Διεπιστημονικού Συνεδρίου, βέβαιη δε κατά την κατά πάντα επιτυχήν διεξαγωγήν αυτού καταστέφομεν τους ελιγμοτάτους εισηγητάς και πάντα στους εκλεκτούς συμμετέχοντας δια της πατριαρχικής ημών ευλογίας και επικαλούμεθα εφημάς την χάριν και των φωτισμών του ποιητού ορατώνται πάντων και αοράτων. Ολοκληρώνοντας και μετά τις ευχές και την ευλογία της αυτού Θεοτάτης Παναγιότητος του Οικουμενικού Πατριάρχου μας Κυρίου Βαρθολομαίου, επιθυμώ και προσωπικά να συγχαρώ και να ευχηθώ καλή επιτυχία στο διεθνές αυτό συνέδριο της κυρίας Τάνιας Μοροπούλου. Πρωτίστως δε να συγχαρώ κυρία Μοροπούλου για την διεπιστημονική συνεργασία του νέου σας προγράμματος με τον τίτλο «Το Εύλογον», το οποίο αποτελεί μια ενδιαφέρουσα και καινοτόμο πρόταση του Παναγιωτάτου και συμμετέχουν πανεπιστημιακά ιδρύματα της Ελλάδος και το Πατριαρχικό μας Ίδρυμα της Ορθοδόξου Ακαδημίας της Κρήτης. Συγχαίρουμε τον Υπουργό Ανάπτυξης, κύριο Τάκη Θεοδωρικάκο, και τους συνεργάτες του για την οικονομική υποστήριξη αυτής της ενδιαφέρουσας προτάσεως με κεντρικό θέμα θρησκευτικά μνημεία και χριστιανικές αξίες σε διάλογο. Μια πρόταση η οποία θα αποτελέσει επίκεντρο προβληματισμού και διαλόγου μεταξύ επιστήμης και θεολογίας, όπως επισημάνθηκε και στο μήνυμα του Παναγιωτάτου. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Σας ευχαριστούμε πολύ. I have the honor to invite His Grace, the Bishop of Thespies, Mr. Pavlos, to convey to us the message of the Archbishop of Athens and Greece, Hieronymus II.
Χαιρετισμός του Μακαριωτάτου Αρχιεπισκόπου Αθηνών και Πάσης Ελλάδος, Κυρίου Ιερονύμου του Δευτέρου, για το 4ο Διεθνές Διεπιστημονικό Συνέδριο. Χαιρετίζω την έναρξη των εργασιών του 4ου Διεθνούς Διεπιστημονικού Συνεδρίου, την επιστημονική ευθύνη του οποίου έχει η Διεπιστημονική Ομάδα του Εθνικού Μετσοβίου Πολυτεχνείου, η οποία είχε την ευθύνη του έργου αποκατάστασης του Παναγίου Τάφου στα Ιεροσόλυμα. Η διοργάνωση πραγματοποιείται σε συνεργασία με το Τεχνικό Επιμελητήριο Ελλάδος και πολλούς επιστημονικούς και άλλους φορείς που στοχεύουν στην προστασία της πολιτιστικής κληρονομιάς. Ο σκοπός είναι πράγματι η προστασία και η παρουσία και διατήρηση της πολιτιστικής κληρονομιάς. Προς τούτο είναι εκ των ον ουκάνευ η οικοδόμηση διεπιστημονικής προσέγγισης και μια ολιστική ψηφιακή τεκμηρίωση των μνημείων, και ασφαλώς είναι σημαντικό να καθίστανται όλοι οι φορείς, κοινωνοί και γνώστες των τελευταίων εξελίξεων στην έρευνα και στην καινοτομία. Τα μνημεία, μάρτυρες πολιτισμού και ιστορίας, με την πολυεπίπεδη αξία τους, συνυφασμένοι με τα υλικά τους και τον τόπο στον οποίο βρίσκονται, απαιτούν το αληθινό ενδιαφέρον μας για τη διατήρηση και ανάδειξή τους. Η προστασία τους οφείλει να γίνεται με τα πλέον πρόσφορα μέσα που παρέχει η σύγχρονη τεχνολογία. Και εδώ ακριβώς μπαίνει το θέμα της ολοκληρωμένης επιστημονικής ενημέρωσης, αλλά και το θέμα της εξέβρεσης πόρων και επίσης της ευαισθητοποίησης των κοινωνιών για την καλή διατήρηση της κληρονομίας. Στην προοπτική της ευαισθητοποίησης των κοινωνιών και της κατανόησης της αξίας των μνημείων εισέρχονται στην εξίσωση της διεπιστημονικής κινητοποίησης και οι ανθρωπιστικές επιστήμες. Ο αποετών διεπιστημονικός χαρακτήρας της διοργανώτριας του Συνεδρίου Ομάδας του Εθνικού Μετσοβίου Πολυτεχνείου κομίζει ήδη πολύτιμη εμπειρία. Οι κατά το πρόγραμμα του Συνεδρίου επιστημονικές ανακοινώσεις, εξάλλου, θίγουν κέρια και σημαντικά ζητήματα. Συγχαίρω και εύχομαι ο Κύριος ημών Ιησούς Χριστός να ευλογήσει πλουσίως τις εργασίες του Συνεδρίου. Μετευχών διαπήρων ο Αρχιεπίσκοπος Αθηνών και Πάσης Ελλάδος, Ιερώνυμος ο Δεύτερος.
Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ. I have the honor and pleasure to invite Father Hieronymus, His Eminence, to present the message of His Beatitude, the Patriarch of Jerusalem, Theophilos III.
Τη Ελογημοτάτη κυρία Αντωνία Μοροπούλου, καθηγητρία του Εθνικού Μετσοβίου Πολυτεχνείου Αθηνών, θυγατρία εν Χριστώ αγαπητή της ημών μετριότητος, χάριν και ειρήνην από Θεού Πατρός. Δια των πατριαρχικών ημών γραμμάτων τούτων, συγχαίρομεν εν θέρμος τη ημετέρα λίαν τη τιμημένη ημίν ελογημότητη, επί τη διοργανώση του 4ου Διεθνούς Επιστημονικού Συνεδρίου, προαγούσης την συνεργασία με τα ποικίλων φορέων, διατηρήσεως και προστασίας της πολιτιστικής κληρονομιάς των λαών, ιδία της ημετέρας Ρωμαιοορθοδόξου. Με τα λύπης όμως πολλής ανακοινούμεν αυτή, ότι λόγω ανηλυμένων σοβαρών υποχρεώσεων ημών υπό τας παρούσας καταστάσεις εις Ιερουσαλήμ, αδυνατούμεν να μετάσχομεν προσωπικώς, εκπροσωπήσει δε ημάς εν το ερημένο συνεδρίο, ο εν Αθήνες έξαρχος ημών, ο Σιολογιότατος Αρχιμανδρίτης Ιερώνυμος. Χαιρετίζοντες ιδιαιτέρως πάντας τους συμβάλλοντας στην διοργάνωση του συνεδρίου τούτου και τους μετέχοντας εις αυτό, επιδαψιλεύουμε τας πατρικά ημών ευχάς και πατριαρχικάς ευλογίας από του Παναγίου και Ζωοδόχου Τάφου και διατελούμεν. Εν τη Αγία Πόλη Ιερουσαλήμ, 25 Μαρτίου 2025, διάπειρος προς Κύριον Ευχέτης, Θεόφιλος Τρίτος, Πατριάρχης Ιεροσολύμων.
Σας ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Να μεταφέρετε τον απόλυτο σεβασμό μας στον Πατριάρχη Ιεροσολύμων και την ευγνωμοσύνη μας. The Custos of Holy Land, the Reverend Francesco Patton, has entrusted to me to convey to the conference his blessing for our works. As a member of the three of the status quo, the guardians of the Holy Tomb in Jerusalem, that they are now continuing the works with the University of Sapienza, and we are working with them together in various projects to transfer know-how among us. So it is still uniting the Tomb of Christ, all the forces around it. I have the honor to invite Dr. Pavlos Tsolakian, the Great Master of the Grand Priority of Greece, to convey the message of the Armenian Patriarch, Nurhan Manurhan.
Σεβασμιότατη, Άγιε Έξαρχε, Πανασολογιότατε, κύριοι εκπρόσωποι Υπουργείων, αγαπητή καθηγήτρια Τόνια Μοροπούλου, πρόεδρε του Διεθνούς Αυτού Επιστημονικού Συνεδρίου και μέλη της Οργανωτικής Επιτροπής, σεβαστοί προσκεκλημένοι σε αυτό το σημερινό σπουδαίο συνέδριο. Θα ήθελα να μεταφέρω χαιρετισμό της αυτού Θειοτάτης Μακοριώτης, ο Αρμένιος Ορθόδοξος Πατριάρχης Ιεροσολύμων, Πάσης Παλαιστίνης, Ιορδανίας, ηγούμενος της αδελφότητας του Αγίου Ιακώβου και πνευματικός ποιμένας των Ορθοδόξων Χριστιανών Αρμενίων των Αγίων Τόπων, προκαθήμενος του Τρίτου την τάξη της Αρμενικής Ορθοδόξου Αποστολικής Εκκλησίας κυρίου Νουρχάν του Πρώτου. Σε τηλεφωνική του επικοινωνία με τον Δόκτωρ Παύλο Τσολακιάν, μεγάλο εθνικό διοικητή της Μεγάλης Επικράτησης Ελλάδος, του κυρίαρχου χριστιανικού υποτικού τάγματος του Ναού των Ιεροσολύμων, του ζήτησε να μεταφέρει κατά την έναρξη των εργασιών του συνεδρίου προς όλους τους παρευρισκομένους το εξής χαιρετισμό. Με μεγάλη χαρά πληροφορήθηκα από την αγαπητή ομότιμο καθηγήτρια του Ελληνικού Μετσοβίου Πολυτεχνείου Αθηνών και αντιπρόεδρο του Τεχνικού Επιμελητηρίου Ελλάδος, κυρία Τόνια Μοροπούλου, την εκ νέου οργάνωση του 4ου κατά σειράν Διεθνούς Συνεδρίου υπό τον τίτλο «Διαεπιστημονική, πολυφασματική και πολυφασματική μοντελοποίηση και συνεργασία για την διατήρηση της πολιτιστικής κληρονομιάς». Θα ήθελα ιδιαιτέρως να συγχαρώ και να εξάρω την προσφορά καθώς και τις άοκνες προσπάθειες της κυρίας Τόνιας Μοροπούλου, ώστε να παραμείνει ζωντανό και δυναμικό αυτό το Διεθνές Συνέδριο και να επεκτείνει τις δραστηριότητες του. Η πολυφασματική επιστημονική φύση των εργασιών διακρίνεται από τους σημαντικούς φορείς διοργάνωσης του Εθνικού Μετσοβίου Πολυτεχνείου και με τη συνεργασία υψηλών φορέων του Τεχνικού Επιμελητηρίου Ελλάδος, του Υπουργείου Ανάπτυξης καθώς και του Υπουργείου Εξωτερικών της Ελλάδος. Το συνέδριο αυτό αποτελεί σημαντικό μοχλό μελέτης, έρευνας και δημιουργίας. Θα ήθελα επίσης να χαιρετήσω όλους τους συμμετέχοντες σε αυτό το Διεθνές Συνέδριο και εύχομαι να έχει θετικά επιστημονικά και συνεργατικά αποτελέσματα ως προσφορά στις επιστημονικές κοινότητες και στην κοινωνία μας. Τέλος, από την έδρα του Αρμενικού Ορθόδοξου Πατριαρχείου Ιεροσολύμων, από την Ιερά Πόλη της Ιερουσαλήμ, εύχομαι σε αυτές τις δύσκολες στιγμές της ανθρωπότητος να επικρατήσει η ειρήνη στον κόσμο. Ευλογούμε την διοργάνωση αυτού του Διεθνούς Επιστημονικού Συνεδρίου. Ευχόμεθα δε, όπως το αποτέλεσμά του να στεφθεί υπό πλήρους επιτυχίας. Η χάρις του Σωτήρους και Κυρίου μας Ιησού Χριστού να είναι πάντα στον πλευρό όλων σας. Ιεροσόλυμα, Σαββάτο 5 Απριλίου 2025, ο Αρμένιος Πατριάρχης Ιεροσολύμων Νουρχάν. Θα ήθελα επίσης, εκ μέρους του κυρίαρχου υποτικού χριστιανικού τάγματος, να μεταφέρω τους χαιρετισμούς του Παγκόσμιου Διοικητού, του Προέδρου του Ανώτατου Στρατοδικείου των ΗΠΑ, του στρατηγού David Appleby. Μου είπε ότι εμείς, σαν Παγκόσμιο Τάγμα, θα είμαστε πάντοτε στο πλευρό σας, κυρία Μοροπούλου, γιατί το έργο το οποίο προσφέρετε αυτή τη στιγμή, ειδικά για τα Ιεροσόλυμα, είναι μεγάλο έργο και όχι μόνο για τα Ιεροσόλυμα. Επίσης, θα ήθελα εκ μέρους των Ελλήνων υποτών των Ιεροσολύμων να ευχηθώ καλή επιτυχία στο σημερινό αυτό Διεθνές Επιστημονικό Συνέδριο. Σας ευχαριστώ.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. We can connect now the MP, President of the Committee on Research and Innovation of the Greek Parliament, Mr. Stratos Simopoulos. Μπορούμε να συνδέσουμε τον κύριο Σιμόπουλο. Τον κύριο Σιμόπουλο.
Εγώ σας ακούω, με ακούτε?
Ναι, σας ακούμε.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Moropoulou. Thank you for giving me, as a chairman of the Permanent Committee on Research and Technology of the Greek Parliament, the opportunity to address you today at a conference on innovation that is different from the usual. You will not be discussing gadgets, modern devices, and systems typically related to technology, as most citizens perceive it, but rather innovative applications in the preservation of cultural heritage. Some citizens have experienced this through virtual museum tours, while most have encountered it through the digitization of text. However, people like you, who are primarily involved in this field, know very well the revolution that has arrived and is coming in this area. Although you are dealing today with the Christian heritage, the representation and murals in the Tomb of Phillips, which are just one striking example of how far technology can now go. The work being done at the Institute of Speech Processing, for example, at the Athena Research Center, is another one. Lastly, I want to mention the coordinator of today's conference, Mrs. Moropoulou, who, although a chemical engineer, combines sciences and culture. Her work in the Holy Tomb in Jerusalem is really significant. So I wish you all the best for the conference, and I will be happy to study its conclusions. Thank you very much.
It is indeed a message that united the Greek Parliament addresses this conference. I have the honor to present to you the video message of Mrs. Rihanna Schwiniger-Ladak, the Head of Interactive Technologies, Digital for Culture and Education of the European Commission. Το βίντεο της Ευρωπαϊκής Επιτροπής, παρακαλώ.
Good morning. It's not a video. I'm actually online.
That's great. Good morning, Rihanna.
Could you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. We would be delighted to see you as well. Yes, we see you. Great.
Good morning. So, dear General Secretary, Your Eminence, Your Grace, dear Rector, dear President, dear Member of the Hellenic Parliament, dear dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good morning from shiny, sunny Luxembourg. Thank you for inviting me to address you. And I would like to congratulate Professor Emeritus Antonia Moropoulou and her team for such a high-level lineup of international experts. I'm the head of the department which is responsible for the support to the digital transition of cultural heritage institutions. Unfortunately, I could not attend the conference in person as it is school holidays, but I'm very happy to be able to address you via this video link. I'm the head of the department at the European Commission, which is responsible for the support to the digital transformation of cultural heritage institutions, and I'm happy to be able to address you today via this video link. I would like, for a few moments, to just let our imaginations flow, because this is also needed. Let's imagine for a moment that a curator, certainly which is here in the room, full of curiosity, who loves history, archaeology, and technology alike, is traveling in time and stumbling into the workshop of Leonardo da Vinci. The genius is drawing a new flying invention. And he sees the curator armed with a tablet instead of a notebook. And this piques the genius' interest. Our curator shows him the 3D model, rotating and zooming it to the tiniest detail. The genius, Leonardo, says, such sorcery may safeguard my invention, but will it really work? Will it really fly? With more than one person at a time, will it be secure? So today, we are in a similarly transformative era, where advances in technologies like artificial intelligence, like 3D digitization, like virtual reality, like augmented reality, are redefining how we preserve, how we use, how we understand, and how we interact with our cultural heritage, especially religious monuments that have so much significance for many here. This solid bridge of preservation of tradition and cutting-edge innovation not only enables us to protect our shared past, but also ensure it is accessible and secure for future and younger generations. In this digital renaissance, in a way, we are the inheritors of Da Vinci's spirit of inquiry, of exploration, and creativity, which are enriched thanks to equally sophisticated technology. And this is precisely the approach of the European policy framework, which is called the Recommendation for a Common European Data Space for Cultural Heritage. Our policy guides member states to advance in their efforts in digitization, especially 3D digitization of monuments and sites, of digital preservation, of digital access and reuse in a variety of areas, such as education that was mentioned earlier. The European policy clearly states that advanced technologies are not only good, but necessary to the preservation, restoration, rehabilitation of monuments and artifacts. But this is not technology push. This is about how we bring all the various disciplines together so that we can advance in this long road ahead. We will soon publish the first report of the recommendation. It takes stock of the progress made by member states in supporting their digitization and digital transformation of cultural heritage. And the conclusions are that there is still much work ahead. A lot of best practices are happening everywhere, but we need to accelerate and scale up our efforts of preservation. And I'm very happy that this conference is looking into these important issues and will contribute to the overall European effort. This digital preservation journey is far from over, yet we are facing new issues, and Professor Moropoulou mentioned some of them which are part of our reality now. Allow me to highlight 3 critical issues which I find very, very important. First, it's about technological sovereignty. We are in a complicated time where we can only rely on ourselves. We must ensure that we have control over our digitized treasures, especially when we speak about religious digitized heritage, that they remain with us within the European Union. This means we must develop our own tools and use these tools. We must preserve and share our data with European services, in EU-based data centers, we must ensure that our European heritage is independent from foreign control and decisions. This commitment includes fair reuse, trust, and security of these digital resources for preserving the integrity of our past while accelerating towards a proper digital transformation. And this is not about creating a European alternative. Rather, it is about having first solutions that are European by default, which are viable, trustworthy, and secure solutions. The second point I want to highlight is sustainability. When we create 3D models of historic sites and artifacts, of monuments, of religious monuments, which you are going to discuss in this conference, we must ensure they are done with open standards, with a common and robust framework, with technical interoperability, so today's digitized data can be meaningful and usable tomorrow to prevent digital obsolescence. This sustainable approach ensures our shared beliefs continue to inspire and educate long into the future. And the third point I would like to mention are skills. This digital transition is powered by skills that are critical to this effort. It was mentioned earlier, but here more specifically, I would like to refer to the digital skills of the experts working in these cultural spaces. And there are a variety of skills, from writing engaging narratives to capturing ancient artifacts in 3D or crafting immersive augmented reality experience. Your technical knowledge ensures that our history is not only preserved, but also brought to life. This is why our policy framework, the recommendation, highlights 3 key points about digital skills. 1, the need for capacity building and training in digital preservation techniques, data management, leveraging advanced technologies such as AI or 3D. 2, the need to promote digital literacy, not only among professionals, but also the broader public. This ensures that cultural heritage can be accessed and appreciated by audiences, by younger audiences. And third, it's the need to collaborate and share knowledge between institutions across Europe, where experts can exchange experiences, tools, best practices, exactly that what we are doing in this conference. And I would like to mention the Competence Center for 3D, which is present in the conference. Together with all of you, will be an important enabler for building capacity, for promoting 3D digital literacy at all levels, and for facilitating collaboration and knowledge sharing about digitization, 3D digitization between cultural heritage institutions. I mentioned earlier Leonardo da Vinci. He used to work alone, but we do it together. Because united, we are stronger. I think we heard a lot of what united. I think this will guide the mindset of the conference. That has always been one of the key values of the EU. And more than ever, in the digital era, we can be inspired by all the great women and men who came before us, and we can thus learn from each other. Thank you, and I wish you a great conference.
Thank you so much, Rihanna. And we are passing now to the International Council of Monuments and Sites, represented by the member of the International Board, Professor Emeritus Andreas Georgopoulos, a member of the interdisciplinary team of the NTUA for the project of the Holy Sepulchre. Dear Andreas, you are having the floor.
Thank you very much. Your Holiness, your Beatitudes, honorable delegates, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. It is with great honor and, no, I don't have a presentation. This is for the panel. It is with great pleasure and honor that I am invited to address you all on behalf of ICOMOS, the International Council of Monuments and Sites, and its president, Professor Teresa Patricio, with the occasion of the 4th International Conference on Transdisciplinary Multispectral Modeling for Cultural Heritage. As you may know, ICOMOS is an NGO spanning across the globe with almost 12,000 members and aims at the protection and preservation of cultural heritage of any kind, while at the same time it serves as the advisor of UNESCO for the World Heritage Convention. This year, we celebrate our 60th anniversary. Our cultural heritage is not just a testament to our past, but a beacon guiding us towards a more enlightened and enriched future. In an age where technological advancements are rapidly transforming the ways in which we perceive and interact with the world, it is imperative that we harness these innovations to safeguard our historical treasures. The transdisciplinary approach which this conference so amply emphasizes is vital for the multifaceted challenges we face. By integrating insights from diverse fields, such as archaeology, architecture, digital humanities, and environmental sciences, we are better equipped to devise comprehensive strategies and ensure the longevity and integrity of our cultural sites. However, technology alone is not enough. Collaboration and cooperation are the bedrock upon which sustainable preservation efforts are built. It is through the relentless commitment and shared vision of international organizations, local communities, policymakers, and scholars that we can achieve meaningful progress. ICOMOS International is dedicated to fostering such partnerships, promoting best practices, and advocating for policies that prioritize cultural heritage preservation on a global scale. We should always remember that our work is not just about preserving monuments and artifacts. It is about preserving the very essence of our human experience. Every stone, every fresco, every ruin tells a story, stories of ingenuity, resilience, and identity. These stories connect us across time and space, bridging cultures and generations. Let us continue to push the boundaries of innovation, strengthen our collaborative efforts, and remain steadfast in our commitment for safeguarding our cultural heritage. Together, we can ensure that the treasures of our past continue to inspire and enrich the lives of future generations. Every success to this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Andreas. I have the pleasure to invite Liminaidis, former Deputy Secretary General of the Organization of the World Union of Historic Cities. Lee, you are having the floor. Το μικρόφωνο.
Sorry. Oh, there we are. We're all right now? Good. Respected members of the clergy, distinguished guests and participants, dear President of the conference. I would like to thank the President of the International TMM-CH conferences and dear friend Professor Antonia Moropoulou for inviting me to participate on behalf of the Organization of World Heritage Cities, the OWHC, in the 4th edition of the conferences. I want to congratulate as well Professor Moropoulou and her team for the wonderful organization, not only in this conference, but in the past conferences, which, having participated in the previous 3 meetings, during which issues relevant to the objectives of the OWHC were addressed, I look forward, once again, to the discussion of pertinent issues, such as circular economy strategies for the adaptive reuse of cultural heritage, as well as the participation of informed societies in decision-making processes. In keeping with its mission to make a relevant and constructive contribution to the holistic, sustainable development of its members and its members, the members of the OWHC, are the cities inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. The OWHC is in the process of developing its new urban project, which will offer to member cities a set of proposals for designing and implementing heritage-led local strategies to regenerate the habitability of historic centers. The concept of habitability places people at the heart of urban concerns, recognizing the social value of our heritage and the communities that bring it to life. The combined effects of climatic, economic, and social crises are exerting considerable pressure on the habitability of urban environments, as well as on heritage environments which are particularly vulnerable. New urban regeneration practices need to be developed to address these crises. A featured program of the New Urban Project is the Urban Heritage Regeneration Accelerator, which is made possible through a partnership between the OWHC and the Cultural Heritage Finance Alliance, SHIFA. The project is designed to help cities develop innovative financing, strategic partnerships, and dynamic urban regeneration strategies. You will be learning more about SHIFA and its work from its founder and president, Bonnie Burnham. Historic districts are the foundation of our cities and have shaped their identity. However, as living entities, historic cities must constantly adapt to remain the basis for the future development of their urban ensemble. It is crucial that their evolution in the modern world respects the notion that the cities must maintain their habitability, but also that their heritage is an irreplaceable resource for ensuring a good quality of life for all. Interventions in these areas must preserve the integrity and authenticity of the place, and at the same time revitalize the functions that coexist within the historic districts, and in some cases, to reinvent their functionality. Today, adaptive reuse in historic buildings creates places that are original, that become attractions in the city, and that instill pride in the local populations. Moreover, it creates value in the city. It is imperative that we design and regulate in a way that does not leave adaptive reuse to chance, but is instead more systematic and purposeful, thus enabling sustainable reuse on a broader scale. To address this and other issues, another component of our new urban project seeks to create collaborating networks within the OWHC that foster dialogue among member cities with shared priorities, that promote collective actions, and that strengthen community engagement by encouraging cities to incorporate the insights and contributions of diverse stakeholders, including local communities, into the urban development process. As these and other OWHC priority issues will be addressed at this conference, I look forward to the discussions in the coming days, the conclusions of which will most certainly be of interest to our organization. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Lee. It is really a message that all the heritage cities of the world are attending this effort. And as the message of His All Holiness said, the world is the home of heritage, and cities are the home of people. Thank you very much. I would like to invite the Cyprus Scientific and Technical Chamber President, Mr. Konstantinos Konstanti, who is always at our side. And I have to say that when we opened the Tomb of Christ, the 26th of October of 2016, the first place we went after to announce this was Cyprus.
Καλημέρα σε όλες και όλους, σεβασμιωτάτοι, κυρίες και κύριοι. Επιτρέψτε μου να προσπεράσω το πρωτόκολλο. It is a great honor for me to welcome you today on behalf of the Scientific and Technical Chamber of Cyprus to this important international conference. We are very pleased to see such a strong gathering of scientists, professionals, and experts from different fields coming together to discuss the preservation of cultural heritage, a topic that is deeply connected to our identity, our built environment, our past, and our future. At our technical chamber, we strongly believe that cultural heritage, both tangible and intangible, must be protected and preserved with care and responsibility, especially in Cyprus and Greece, where cultural layers are visible everywhere. This task is both a national obligation and a great opportunity. Cultural heritage is understood as a vital resource for social, economic, and sustainable development, which can significantly contribute to smarter, environmentally friendly, socially aware, and more inclusive societies. Its value goes beyond history. It can inspire innovation, strengthen community identity, and support economic growth. We also believe that the preservation of heritage in the present requires the effective use of technology, innovation, and interdisciplinary collaboration. Digital tools, non-invasive documentation methods, and artificial intelligence can help us better understand, protect, and share our heritage. But just as important is the cooperation between engineers, architects, conservators, material engineers, archaeologists, and policymakers. Only through a transdisciplinary approach we can build resilient and sustainable strategies. In Cyprus, this remains a work in progress. That's why our chamber is actively involved in promoting regulatory reforms, offering technical expertise, and supporting the development of effective public policies in this field. We aim to equip professionals with knowledge, raise public awareness, and help the state create strong scientific, legal, and technical tools to safeguard our heritage for future generations. In that context, I'm happy to be here with my friend Platonas Stylianou, President of the European Council of Civil Engineers, and be part of the knowledge sharing, experiences and recommendation about sustainable cultural heritage approaches and practices. I'm sure that this opportunity will offer us great ideas and new tools to achieve our goals. I would like to warmly congratulate the organizers for this excellent initiative and wish all participants a successful and productive conference. I would like also to seize the opportunity to extend special thanks on behalf of the Chamber of on behalf of the Chamber to Professor Moropoulou for her long-lasting contribution to the mission of the Technical Chamber of Cyprus. Let us use this opportunity to exchange ideas, share good practices, and move closer to a more sustainable future, one where cultural heritage is protected, valued, and lived. Thank you very much.
Very much. With honor and pleasure, I have to invite Professor Anna Battistatou, the rector of the University of Ioannina.
Your Holiness, Honorable General Secretary, dear chairpersons, distinguished guests, it's a great pleasure and honor for me to be here as the rector of University of Ioannina. We have the great honor to have in our executive board Professor Antonia Moropoulou. So for the last 2 years that we are all planning the new strategic plan for our university, together with our advisory board, we put interdisciplinarity, one of our goals, our major goals and our focus. And I know this is the right thing, and I see it here. I see that many disciplines within one program, interdisciplinarity also in the quadruple helix. So we have universities, we have research universities, academic universities, many pillars, and all this in dialogue with society. I read in the program, and I will be very brief on so that the real program can start. The program is aiming in the interdisciplinary approach to conservation and holistic digital documentation of cultural heritage. We heard a lot in the greetings before, so I'm not going to say much more. I say the way that I understand it. The way I understand it is there is only one humanity, there is only one science, they are both eternal. We say us in this room and also in this program, we are in dialogue with society, but actually we are part of the society. So we are in dialogue with society, being part of the society. So one humanity and one science, and everything can be possible forever. So thank you very much for making this possible for us.
Thank you very much, dear Rector. I have now the pleasure to invite you to attend the video of Bonnie Burnham, President Emerita of the World Monuments Fund, which was the major sponsor from New York to the project of the rehabilitation of the Holy Sepulchre. And today she is the founder and the president of CHIFA, the Cultural Heritage Finance Alliance. The video of Bonnie Burnham, please. She is talking to us from the US right now.
I'm Bonnie Burnham, and I'd like to start by saying congratulations to the organizers of this 4th edition of the TMM-CH conference, and especially Antonio Moropoulou. I wish I were with you in Athens, and I have been for all 3 of the previous TMM-CH conferences. I've enjoyed them very much. They're so well organized and attract very thoughtful discussion from professionals around the world in the heritage field. And I've been particularly impressed to hear about the innovative projects in Greece that place heritage at the focal point of local growth and revive local economies without disrupting their traditions and culture. I think this is the crux of what we professionals working in the field today need to do. Urban conservation is a key priority in the struggle to achieve sustainability in the face of catastrophic events like climate change and other issues. The solutions need to address pollution, waste management, but also social issues like equitable access to education, healthcare, housing, and other benefits. It's well recognized that cities have great potential to deliver positive impacts across these goals, but the importance of focusing on the city as a crux of human future development on the planet has been overshadowed in recent years by other concerns and other kinds of catastrophic events, many of them driven by conflict over essential resources. Nearly 20 years ago, there was a watershed study orchestrated by the Rockefeller Foundation and published in the book, Century of the City, No Time to Lose. It called for investing in existing buildings and infrastructure in lieu of new development. It called for massive training of architects in the global south. And it concluded that complex partnerships must be forged that share knowledge about better theory and successful practice. Unfortunately, that vision has been stalled, and given the growth of political boundaries that impede this kind of cooperation, it would seem almost like an impossibility today. So we're faced with a difficult challenge, and we all need to find a way to do our part. At CHIFA, we will launch a new program this year, the Urban Heritage Regeneration Accelerator. Our partner in this initiative is the Organization of World Heritage Cities. Surprisingly for me, many of these cities that benefit from that prestigious designation are suffering from the same group of problems. They're facing depopulation in their urban centers and increasing frequency of catastrophic events. And there is a sense of citizen disempowerment in relation to development, and particularly in relation to tourism development. And there are other kinds of poorly managed demographic issues as well. We'll be talking more about the framework and goals of the accelerator in addressing these challenges tomorrow in section 11 on historic cities and centers. So for now, I'd just like to thank NTUA and the Eugenides Foundation for continuing to organize this important convening, and to all of you in Athens who are familiar with these looming issues. Visionary solutions to these problems can change the future of a place for the better if we work together across sectors to innovate and bring fresh energy, new interest, and hopefully renewed resources to our mission. Thank you, and I look forward to speaking with you again tomorrow.
Thanks. Thank you, dear Bonnie. His Excellency Mr. Nikola Nedeljkovic, Ambassador of the Republic of Serbia to the Hellenic Republic, is here. Welcome, Your Excellency. I'm now in the place to invite my friend Evstratios Stylianidis, Professor of the Aristotle University of Salonika and Vice President of the International Committee, CHIPA, for Heritage Documentation, and former Vice Rector of the AUTH on Research and Education.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone, Reverend Fathers, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, friends and partners in cultural heritage. It is a true honor to be here with you today at this fourth international conference, TMM-CH. Representing SIPA Heritage Documentation, I'm deeply proud to join a community that recognizes not only the scientific and technological dimensions of heritage preservation, but also its profound cultural, ethical, and human implications. SIPA has long stood at the crossroads of heritage and innovation. We have witnessed the transformative power of documentation, of course digital and physical, in protecting the legacy of humanity. But more than tools and data, we have championed collaboration as a foundation of our work. In that spirit, I want to highlight three key values that I believe define this extraordinary gathering. First, it's transdisciplinarity. Our shared challenges, climate change, conflict, urbanization, and even disconnection, demand that we transcend transnational boundaries. We are not only architects or engineers, archaeologists or conservators. We are a network of knowledge and practice. the National Technical University of Athens interdisciplinary model, exemplified in the rehabilitation of the Holy Edicule in Jerusalem, is a guiding light in this respect. It shows how deep respect for history can harmonize with cutting-edge science and technology. Second is the holistic digital heritage. From 3D modeling to artificial intelligence, from photogrammetry to immersive education platforms, we are redefining what it means to preserve and to share heritage. But this digitization is not only technical, it's also social. It creates access, fosters inclusion, and empowers communities to see themselves in the mirror of their past. Digital heritage must never be a sterile replica. It must be a living dialogue between the past, the present, and the future. The third key value is the peace through culture. This conference boldly calls us to recognize heritage as a unified source in fragmented world. Cultural sites in conflict zones are more than victims. They are the symbols of resilience. And our responsibility as scientists, as technicians, is not only to preserve structures, but to uphold the values they carry. By protecting them, we foster mutual understanding, respect, and perhaps most importantly, hope. SIPA's commitment continues to be the advancement of scientific documentation techniques in service of a more inclusive, sustainable, and empathetic preservation practice. We're inspired by the efforts showcased across the world by our members, from educational innovation to climate resilient strategies. Let me close by expressing my gratitude to the organizers, especially my dear friend, Professor Tonia Moropoulou, the National Technical University of Athens, the Technical Chamber of Greece, and all the collaborating institutions. It is no coincidence, and we do not forget that we meet here in Athens, a cradle of democracy, philosophy, and art. Let us use this setting to recommit to heritage as a common good, a shared language across borders and across generations. And finally, I would like to extend a warm invitation to all of you to participate in our forthcoming SIPA 2025 symposium, which is taking place in August in Seoul, Korea. It will be another opportunity to continue this vital dialogue, to share knowledge, and to collectively shape the future of heritage documentation and preservation. Thank you, and may the work we do over these next 2 days spark new ideas, forge new alliances, and continue the noble mission of preserving our collective human story. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Stratos. It is a real pleasure to cooperate with international organizations who have strong pillars in Greece and strong representatives, and to work with them using the pilot of the rehabilitation of the Holy Edicule of the Holy Sepulchre as a main data entry, which is not only digital, but social, religious, cultural input as well. The chair of the Research University Institute of Communication and Computer Systems of NTUA, Professor Yannis Psaras, is not with us right now, so I have to convey its address and its support. And last but not least, the Technical Chamber of Greece, which is co-organizing this conference with National Technical University of Athens. Its president, dear colleague Giorgos Stasinos, could not come till now because he is defending the technical chamber at the Court of State right now, and he could not leave. So I would like to invite Antonia Lambropoulou to read his address to the conference.
Esteemed guests, dear participants, friends and colleagues, we welcome you to the 4th International Conference on Interdisciplinary Multispectral Modeling and Cooperation for the Preservation of Cultural Heritage, a conference that is progressively becoming an institution of scientific affairs in the issues it deals with, which the Technical Chamber of Greece has supported since its inception. Because the issues of preserving buildings, infrastructure, and monuments of our cultural heritage, especially in the era of the climate crisis, especially when using new technologies, are critical and important. And I would like to congratulate my good colleague, Professor Emeritus of the National Technical University of Athens and Vice President of the Technical Chamber of Greece, Tonia Moropoulou, as well as all the members of the scientific community who are constantly collaborating for the progress of the conference and science in the field. Because our work as engineers only has to gain through the multidisciplinary approach and cooperation between specialties and people. The conclusions that we can draw from the lessons of emblematic projects for the restoration of important monuments for our work are extremely critical. The Holy Sepulchre, the Hagia Sophia, the Acropolis, the City of Rhodes, and so many other monuments with the stamp of Greek civilization are not only universal goods. Through the scientific work of documenting, preserving, and restoring them, and the continuous evolution of science, they become arcs of new knowledge for every scientist, professional, especially engineer, and every person. And the model of cooperation and, I sincerely hope, peaceful coexistence of different people and cultures, something that becomes even more important in times of tensions, isolationism, conflicts, and wars. Science can unite, and the emotions caused by the restoration of a universal monument can become hope and perspective for every person who sees it. Let us all work even harder to be able to preserve the monuments made by man and the culture that we have created for centuries. We can. Thank you very much. I wish you to have nice works here at the conference. Mr. Yorgos Stasinos, the President of the Technical Chamber of Greece.
I'd like to thank from this forum Yorgos Stasinos for his continuous standing with the scientific efforts, and especially for the dissemination and for the continuation of the efforts concerning the rehabilitation of the Holy Edicule in Jerusalem. Furthermore, because right now we are implementing this methodology through Evlogon and diffuse it to the technical world. By that, we are coming to the end of the opening session. Our colleague Marinos Ioannidis, head of the UNESCO Chair for Digital Heritage from Cyprus, will be with us tomorrow, and he will chair on Wednesday the relevant panel on digital twins and memory twins. Hence, we are passing to panel 1, and I'd like to thank you all for your participation to the opening session and inviting to panel 1 Professors Georgopoulos Andreas, Haris Mouzakis from the interdisciplinary team of the NTUA for the project, from Fatih Sultan Mehmet Vakif University, the Faculty of Architecture and Design, Professor Hassan Firat Diker, with whom we had worked together at Hagia Sophia, and now he is working there and he will let us know. Professor Ismini Kriari, former rector of Pandion University of Social and Political Sciences, and from the European Research and Educational Center of Bioethics and Legislation, and Dr. European lawyer Spiros Papas, from former Directorate General Director of European Commission, concerning education, culture, and multimedia, as I recall. He was the first from the European Union that was standing with us in our common efforts for Hagia Sophia at that time. So will you please join me at the panel, and thank you so much, all of you, for the opening session.